What's good, everybody? Remember 17 here, and today we're going to be covering lunging strikes on UFC 5. Now there's two variations, the stepping strikes and the lunging strikes. In order to do the stepping strikes, you're going to be flicking with the left analog stick towards your opponent, and for the major lunging strikes, you're going to be holding L1 and using the left analog stick to flick towards your opponent, or the right analog stick depending on your preference. So first up is going to be the step in jab. In order to step in jab, you flick forward with the left analog stick, input the jab, and depending on your console, those are the inputs. Check your move list too to see how you can throw a jab. Alright, so you step in, get extra range, and you can land that shot. The next shot is going to be the body jab, or rather the step in body jab. Same concept applies here. Flick the left analog stick forward, input the body jab input. Those are your prompts, and that's what you're going to be using. Next up is going to be using the step in cross. This is a really good tool to use in the middle of combinations, especially if your opponent is pulling. Flick forward on the left analog stick, input the cross, and you'll land that shot. Next up is going to be to the body, where you're going to be using the L2 modifier as well for the body jab too. Flick forward on the left analog stick, input the body cross, and there's your strike. So, on top of all this stuff with the body jabs and the crosses, there's also the lunging lead hook. The lunging lead hook, you can do this with the major lunge input, right? And when you major lunge, the timing of when you input that lead hook will depend on how much distance you cover with that hook strike with the lunging lead hook. So if you do it in the early frames, right, you won't cover as much distance, but you put yourself less likely to get countered early. If you do it at the end when you cover all that range, you're more likely to cover that distance and land that shot depending on the distance covered. The same concept applies to the lunging rear hook, and all the prompts are on the screen for you guys to see how to do the lunging rear hook. And with this lunging rear hook, same thing applies. Now, because it's a rear-handed strike, it has slightly less range than the lead hook, so just keep that in mind. Now, for this one, I noticed something weird about it where the lunging jab and the lunging cross cost a little bit more short-term stamina than the lunging lead hook, so that might get fixed. But what makes these so good is that they do so much more damage than the regular jab and the regular cross, right? So you'll see the damage comparison there on the screen. It does way more damage. So the prompts are up in order to initiate the lunging jab, and that is how you're going to be able to do so on PlayStation or Xbox. And these are also possible to get comboed in. Same thing applies here with the cross. That's the base damage in the parentheses with the cross. And when you go and do the lunging cross, it does much more damage. The base damage is in the parentheses. So for the lunging cross, inputs are right there on the screen, and that is how you're going to use them on UFC 5. So go into practice mode. Have fun utilizing all these lunging crosses, stepping crosses, all of these fun moves. Not a lot of people add this to their striking. There's a lot of fighters that love to lunge in order to close the distance, Volkanovski being one of them. There's a lot of options that you have now at your repertoire. Go ahead, have some fun, and let me know if you get any crazy kills with lunging strikes. Remember 17, I appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Much love and take care.